Do you ever look at your bank account and wonder where all your money went? You get paid, you buy the necessities, and you somehow end up with nothing left over to save. Does that sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. Saving money can feel impossible when you don't have the correct systems in place. But what if you could make regular savings as effortless as brushing your teeth or checking your mail? Imagine if saving just a portion of every paycheck required little to no thought or work on your end. This is possible when you implement intentional money saving systems. In this episode, I want to explore 3 powerful techniques to put your savings on autopilot. I'll share how to make saving a habit through automation and simplification. You'll learn how to make saving feel mandatory rather than optional so you can effortlessly accumulate funds over time. If you want to watch your savings grow without the constant struggle, you'll need a reliable system. Let's talk about how to create a tailored one specifically for you. The steps I'll cover today will create a real transformation in your finances. Are you ready to make saving a consistent and reasonable second nature action? Let's get started designing a money saving autopilot that takes the stress out of growing your savings today. Let's jump in.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, and thanks for joining me today as we continue to work to improve the one thing that we can control ourselves. Here at the Financial Mirror, it is not about the numbers and spreadsheets alone, but about transforming and educating you on money so you can make smarter financial decisions. If this is the first time you are joining in, don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube to be notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you are listening to this on a podcast platform of your choice, don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. Apple and Spotify, leave that 5-star review and a written comment, as both go a long way in getting this information out to more and more listeners. So first off, I do want to start off with a few months back, I did like 3 half marathons all within a month of each other, right? Well, yesterday I did do another one, and you can see the look on my face where I was like, whoa, that one was tough. It wasn't that the race was tough. I just tried to go a little faster than I normally do. I normally try to take these nice and easy and just, get through them and enjoy life. Yesterday, I did try to go a little faster. You can see the clock right there after the finish was an hour and 41 minutes. I think my official time was like an hour and 40 minutes and like 49 seconds or something. It was like a 750 minute per mile average. Thought it was pretty good. I'm definitely feeling it today now that I have, laid my body down for a night of rest and am trying to recover. However, it was a good race, great event put on. I really appreciated all the volunteers that were out there that was just helping make that a successful race. Today, is not about me racing and doing half marathons. I think I mentioned back then, and maybe I didn't, and maybe this is just me throwing information out there, but I think back then I was talking about how I was going to do 5 half marathons this year. I may end up doing 6. I'm not really sure what it's going to be like in November, but that was number 4. So I talked back then, and I want to just keep you up to date, so you can hold me accountable, right? That I'm doing the 5 that I said I was going to do. So without further ado, I do want to talk about today savings. I want to talk about savings because that's really what is at the heart of today's episode is savings. You can really understand that saving money is vital to accumulating wealth. And I'm talking about this in the broadest sense, right? Because when we think of savings, most people's brains click to savings account, right? But what I want you to think about when we think of savings or savings rate, I want you to think about putting money aside that's not being spent. You're saving it. It could be into an investment. It could be into a savings account. It could be into a retirement account. It could be into whatever. the biggest thing I'm talking about here is the opposite of spending. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. When I talk about savings, I'm talking about the opposite of spending. But I want to start off with this, with a few questions for you, just to sort of help us really just reel in what we're going to talk about today. But when was the last time you really felt proud about your ability to save money? And maybe if you're honest with yourself and you're like, man, I've never really felt proud about my ability to save money. I've never really been able to save money. But if there is a chance, if there's a chance back then that, maybe it was last month, maybe it was last year, maybe it was a decade ago, what were you saving for, and what steps did you take to make it happen back then? Right? A lot of times we find success in a particular thing that we do, but we never really go back to it. But I want to start off with that. I want you to just sort of think on that, is when was the last time you really felt proud of your ability to save money? Maybe you were saving for a vacation. Maybe you were saving for a down payment on a home. Maybe you were saving for, a big expenditure like a wedding or something like that. All of these things are valid and probably constituting you putting a little diligent effort into saving. And that's kind of where I want you to try to think about. I want you to think about back then what you were doing. Because according to a recent survey, 65% of Americans don't have enough saved to recover from a unexpected $500 expense. So if something happens, they can't cover a $500 expense if it was unexpected, right? And that's huge. 65%, over half of Americans literally cannot afford a $500 unexpected expense if it slapped them in the face. And in life, that happens, right? Like, that's not out of the question that you're going to get hit with a $500 unexpected expense. That is not out of the question at all. So that's kind of where I want us to really pivot this conversation. Is I want you to not be in that 65%. I want you to be prepared for a $500, for a $1,000 expense, right? That's unexpected. I want you to be ready. I want you to be capable, because those are the type of situations when with that 65%, when you can't cover a $500 unexpected expense, that's how people end up in major consumer debt. They put it on a credit card. The credit card accumulates interest. They can't, like, here's the thing about, like, when people resort to that, right? And it's not that you, like, I'm not, making you a victim. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about that. That is, like, sometimes that's like, you don't have another choice. I got it. But when that happens, it is this death spiral, because you couldn't cover the $500 last month. Next month, you may not be able to cover, 100 of it, and it continues to build. Like, you just never really are able to get ahead on that. And then another 500 hits you. And now that 500 that's now built up to a 600 over interest has now hit you. And now you're at like $1,100, right? And it's this constant spiral. So what I want us to do is talk about getting a saving system that works for you. I'm going to give you 3 strategies today that you can really start to utilize now. Like, I mean, these are things that you can just literally start today and get started. But you've got to get a deliberate saving system to start to get ahead, so you can cover those unexpected expenses. So let's start with, what is a saving system? Well, I broke it down to 3 bullet points, but first off, the first thing is deliberate process. Like, this isn't something that you just do. This is like on a whim, right? This is something that's deliberate. Like, you have a set process that you follow for setting money aside. Deliberate. Like, you intentionally make that decision. The other is that it's a habit. Like, it's not something that you have to choose to do. It's not like you all of a sudden, like, yeah, I guess I'll move some money into my brokerage account or my savings account or whatever. It's a habit. Like, you just do it. Like, it's not a question. It's very deliberate, and it's a habit. It's a deliberate habit, right? And then the third one that I got on here is that we talk about, it should be steady over time. It's not sporadic. It's not like 1 month you do it, 1 month you don't, and then you come back and you do it for 6 months straight, and then you don't do it for another 6 months. Like, it's not sporadic like that. It's very, very steady. Like, you just do it over and over and over. It's a habit, right? It's deliberate. These are those key words that I want you to think about, is that it's steady, it's a habit, and it's deliberate. Okay. So keep those in mind. because those three things will carry us through all three strategies. But I do want to cover all three. I want to get to the nuts and bolts of this, because if you can apply this to your life, I promise you, you will begin to build up your savings so you're not in that 65%, that you can cover a $500 unexpected expense. So you're not resorting to consumer debt for trying to cover expenses. This is very, very important. So the first strategy is all about paying yourself first. Paying yourself first. The pay yourself first strategy involves, using things like automated transfers to go from your paycheck to your bank account. That's one way to do it. That's kind of the biggest, the easiest way, because what does that do? First off, it's deliberate, because you are deliberately creating that automatic transfer. It's a habit because it's not a choice, like it's just going to be automatic. So you kind of take that choice out. It's just going to happen, and it's consistent, right? It's steady. It's going to happen every month because unless you turn the automatic transfer off, and that's a choice to do that. So it does that for you. That pay yourself first, that automatic transfer, that goes directly into your savings or retirement or brokerage or whatever the case is, wherever you're trying to put that money. If you were specifically talking about saving for unexpected expenses, these should be going into a savings account, just to level set, right? Because you don't need to be, if an unexpected expense happens, we don't want you like closing positions, like, closing out your investment into a mutual fund and paying the taxes on that income to pay it. Like, it's better just to put it in a savings account if you're trying to cover unexpected expenses. But once you get to that big, overall built emergency fund, fully funded emergency fund, we can start using that savings to go into investments. So without further ado, pay yourself first is that first strategy. All this takes is take some savings off the top of your income rather than trying to save what's left over, because I see it time and time again. Oh, I'll make my money and then I'll spend what I need to on my necessities, and then I'll just save what I have left over. Well, your necessities will change because you now see you have extra money, and you're not going to prioritize savings, right? You're going to have a choice now, because what's left over, you have a choice of how much is going to be left over. You can continue to go out to eat until you have nothing left over, and that was your choice. So I'm saying all these things because I see it so many times where people will try to save what's left over. You've got to pay yourself first, and this is a strategy. This isn't the only strategy. I got two more, but this is a strategy. But this is an easy one to do. I kind of broke it down. Your monthly spending order should go first, savings, second, your needs, third, your wants. But don't try to spend it on your needs and then save and then do your wants, because you might never get to your wants or your save. You might just spend it on your needs. You got to go savings, needs, wants. Savings, needs, wants. That's the spending order if you're going to do pay yourself first. If this is the strategy you're going to choose, that is what you're doing. Now, if this is something you're going to do, I suggest that you start out small, right? Start out small, maybe like $20 set up on an automatic transfer, maybe 25, maybe 50, depending on how much you normally have left over. I wouldn't try to go crazy on this. This is like when I'm helping people really walk through cutting out. Like, a lot of people, like, I just want to stop going out to eat. I'm like, you can't just stop going out to eat. Like, it's there's a habit. Like, you have a habit of going out to eat. So when I'm talking to people, like, you've got to, if you're right now going out to eat 7 times a week, the first transitions, we got to drop to 5, and then we can drop to 3, then we can drop to 1, and then maybe we want to stay at 1, right? Or maybe you do want to stop completely and you go to 0, but you can't just stop cold turkey. It doesn't last. So start out saving something small. Don't be so optimistic and, crazy with it that you're like, yeah, I'm going to save $500 every month, and then I'm going to be good. I'm going to be out of that 65%. It's not going to be steady. You're going to lose the steadiness of it because you're going to give up on it because you're going to need it. You're going to lose that habit, and it's over. So you have to start all the way back at square one. So start at 25, $20, 30, 50, whatever you think you can manage without even like blinking an eye at it, and go ahead and start building that muscle. That's what I tell you to do. Pay yourself first. Second one is you need to save windfalls. Windfalls, this is kind of like that extra money that just randomly pops in your mailbox. Biggest one that I talk about here when we think about saving windfalls are tax refunds. Tax refunds. What this strategy is about is putting any extra unexpected income directly into your savings. If you weren't expecting it, why spend it? Right? Like it wasn't even expected money. Like why spend it? Right? Why spend it? This includes tax refunds. It includes bonuses at work. It includes gifts that people give you, things like that. Just put it directly into your savings. Don't even question it. Just throw it into the savings account. Okay? But that's what this second strategy is about, is saving windfalls. So anytime that something just falls in your lap and you just get that money, tax refunds are the biggest that I see. If you won like a small lottery, like I don't know. I don't know what it could be that, or maybe you got like a small inheritance, or I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like what are some of these other ones? You got a payback for, your mortgage, that you overpaid the previous year. You could throw that in there. I'm just trying to think out loud now. I'm just trying to come up with things, but all these things that could fall into your lap, put them directly into your savings. Don't even question it. That's what this strategy is about. Now, maybe you find joy in spending those things and you were like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I enjoy when I get those big, like random sums of money. I want to just, I want to spend it on something. Got it. Maybe the pay yourself first is better for you, right? Like these are not like you have to do all of them. Now, if you chose all three of these strategies as we go through them and you're like, I'm going to apply all three of those to my life because I can do it, more power to you, more wealth building on your behalf, right? So that's kind of where you could apply all three of these. I just want to give you some options so you can pick one of these. They'll all help you improve your savings. So saving windfalls, pretty straightforward. If money falls in your lap, just put it in your savings. This money is not part of your regular budget, so it's much easier to save. You didn't budget for it. It just came. You just throw it in the savings. It removes all temptation, from having to worry about when to save or how to save, because you're just going to save everything that's just unexpected, right? If you don't get a lot of unexpected income, maybe this isn't the best one for you. However, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I've not done any research study or looks at this, but if I took the average amount of money that someone saves over a year, right? Going back to my recommendation, even automatic transfers, if you saved $25 a month, right? Like you saved $25 a month, and you ended up with every paycheck, or let's do it every paycheck. You did it. You would have only saved, if you got paid every other week or something like that, you would have only saved roughly $650 in a year, right? In a year. So I'm going out on a limb right here to say, if you saved your tax refund deliberately every year, steady, right? If you made that habit, right? Those are my three: deliberate, habit, and steady. You would save more than someone that saved $25 a month in that one clean swoop. You would save more, because most people's tax refund is, at least 800, 900, 1,000 plus, right? If you did that, like one clean swoop, and you're done saving for the year using this strategy, right? For your savings. Now, this is not getting into, there's so much more that goes with this, like, how much you should be saving for retirement and all these things. But this is just on top of that, on top of what you should be saving for retirement, on top of all these. If you just want to save more money, these are some ways to do it. So there's you an option, right? There's you an option. The third strategy, so we talked pay yourself first, strategy 1, save windfalls, strategy 2. Strategy 3 is all about lifestyle changes, right? Habits and changes. This is a big one, and I saved it for last for the simple fact that this is the one where it's like the going out to eat thing, right? It's like the going out to eat thing. This one is kind of, when I say lifestyle changes, what I mean is that you're going to make a lifestyle change, and you're going to save how much you save through that lifestyle change. And I look at that as like you're almost paying yourself for that change, which I think is kind of cool, right? I think that's kind of cool. If you were spending like, let's say $1,000 a month and going out to eat, and you dropped it down to $750 one month, save that $250, right? Off the top. It's almost like you paid yourself $250 for making that change. Like it's almost like you are monetarily like paying yourself back for that effort that you put in, which I think is kind of cool. I think that's truly kind of cool. So if you do that, this is a great way to save without like you're changing your lifestyle a little bit, but you're not like changing like how, when, or if you spend money. Like with the first two strategies, pay yourself first, like takes money away like that. You can budget because you're already going to save it. That windfalls, saving your windfalls, kind of like that money you could throw it in your budget and now start to maneuver it and put it somewhere. This one's just live your life and just start cutting in certain areas and save what you cut. So this one could be as simple as like eating out, impulse purchases. Like if you were going to buy something and you decided not to, put that money into your savings account. If you could start brewing your coffee at home, and instead of that $3 every morning, right, you could put that in your savings account. Like that might get you to, 30 or $40 in a month. But that's kind of the idea here. It's not about making, and this was all the strategies. It's not about like getting to like a fully funded emergency fund in a month. It's about the constant, steady, deliberate actions of you saving money, just building those habits. But that's kind of where we create the change and we shift to the habits, right? Create the change and shift to the habits. The biggest, thing that I like to say here is that these lifestyle changes could be something that you work through, and 1 month you may cut out, a certain amount of eating out. 1 month you might cut out a certain amount of, impulse purchases. Another month you may be more deliberate about controlling how much of your utility usage you utilize, things like that. But this could get you $100-$200 a month if you really, were deliberate in cutting out certain things. But that's kind of this strategy. This third strategy is all about like you just creating a lifestyle change and then benefiting off of it, right? And then benefit off of it. Or maybe you try out like using a grocery list and going in the grocery store. And if on average you normally spend $200 at the grocery store, and this time you spend $150, throw the $50 into the savings account. Just a small lifestyle change. That's all it is. That's all this one's about. So that's kind of the three strategies that I wanted to cover with you. Pay yourself first, save your windfalls, and lifestyle changes. Easily can apply all three of these to your life. It's more about just picking one and get started. Start to build that habit. Start to make it consistent and steady. Start to be deliberate about saving. That is the biggest things. I did want to end with this. I gave you the three strategies, and I did want to close out with just some tips for success. Tips for success is number one, automate. Automate your transfers if you're going to do pay yourself first. Automate transfers if you're going to save windfalls. Don't let that money sit in that account for 2 weeks, because it will get spent. Automate that transfer. Get the money into a savings account. Put it somewhere safe. Put it somewhere that you can't easily touch it. Get it somewhere that is transferable, but get it somewhere that you can't touch it. Second step, and I alluded to this earlier, but I cannot say this enough. Start small. Start small. It is absolutely vital to this becoming a habit. If you start at $200 a month and you've never saved before, that's such an impact on your budget that you're going to feel like it's just debilitating. Start small, $20, $30. When you get used to that, add $35, $42.50. Like, I don't know, just add a little bit at a time. Don't try to go crazy with this. You will stop it. It will not become a habit. It will not become consistent. You've got to start small. And then the last little tip right here is track your progress. Track your progress. See how much you're saving, because when you're just saving like $25 every paycheck, like it doesn't seem like much. You're like, oh, it's just $25 every paycheck. But then you're getting paid every 2 weeks. So after 2 months, you saved $100, right? Like it adds up over time. After 4 months, you're at $200, right? So it adds up. So track your progress. Really look at how much you're saving, because that helps motivate you. That helps you see that money's going into that savings account, that your savings are growing. So those are the habits. The biggest thing is those three key words that I talked about at the beginning, and I've continued to say them, and I hope they stick in your mind. But it's all about being deliberate. It's all about making it a habit, and it's all about being steady, consistent. You've got to be consistent over time to truly yield results. That's the episode for today. And I really hope that you got something out of that, because the biggest thing here is that you've got to find ways to save. It could be the pay yourself first. It could be saving the windfalls. It could be the lifestyle changes. It doesn't matter which one you choose. You've got to pick one system that you are deliberate, that you are creating the habit, and that you are steady with. You just have to find one system that works for you, and go for it, right? Go for it. Remember the question I asked you at the beginning. I asked you, when was the last time you were really proud of your ability to save money? And maybe you had an answer, maybe you didn't. What I want you to do today is I challenge you to start making yourself proud on your ability to save money today. So if you have never felt that before, like you're like proud that you're saving money, I challenge you, go be proud today. Pick one of these systems that works for you and go be proud today of your ability to save money, because it's truly impactful. If you really want to grow, you really want to start to build wealth, you've got to learn to save. You have to build a muscle, that muscle of savings. I always compare this. To like working out, right? If you never work out your legs, your biceps, your triceps, your chest, like your abs, like it doesn't matter what it is, your muscle will atrophy. It will get smaller. Building savings muscles is the exact same. You've got to do it. You have to work it. You have to use it. You have to grow that muscle and put it into this hypertrophy state, right? You can't just continue to not save and let that savings muscle just atrophy more and more and more, because it's just getting weaker. It's getting weaker. You got to build that strength. You got to get that strong. Last thing I want to do is I want you to find, as always, with every lifestyle change you're trying to make, find you an accountability partner. Find somebody that maybe they want to increase their savings as well. Maybe they want to choose a saving system. It doesn't have to be the same one as you, but y'all just hold each other accountable, support each other. It's so vital in reaching those financial goals. Just have somebody you can really talk to about it and really keep you motivated. But the biggest thing that I challenge you with is if you want to build the wealth, if you want to save money, that is how you really propel yourself to all the financial goals that you want. So build the life you want tomorrow by taking control of your finances today. That is the biggest thing. So hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you got something out of this, that you can pick up one of these strategies and apply it as soon as as today, as tomorrow. Now, if you're on this journey and you're like, yeah, I'm good on the savings. I'm having trouble with debt. I'm good on the savings. I could save more if I could just learn how to budget. I'm good on the savings. I just don't know where to put it. I don't know how to invest. I don't know how to do all these things. Well, don't look any further than thefinancialmirror.org. Just head over to my website and hit book now in the middle of the screen, and I will happily come and see if financial coaching is right for you. We'll go through. We'll discuss what exactly you're looking for. See if it's something that I can help you with, and if it is, we'll get you started on a package that works for you. A package that's going to benefit you. Finally, if you do want to give an extra dose of support to the stream, head over to thefinancialmirror.org/shop. Pick you up some awesome Financial Mirror gear. I got a couple new products in there for some of the colder weather that's starting to rip through certain areas of the country. So go ahead and pick you up some. It wasn't that cold during the marathon. I'll tell you that much. The half marathon was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can't say that enough. It was absolutely great. So I don't know what your weather's like, but I just say all that to say that there is some products out there that may be right for you. I truly appreciate you watching today. I truly appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of this. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video with other people that are in your life, coworkers, friends, family that you just want to help grow financially. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star review on those podcasts. Give those written comments on the videos, on the podcasts. Just continue to show your support. I truly appreciate all the kind words that I get about the podcast and about the videos. I hope they're helping you. That's the biggest goal, is that they're helping you reach your financial goals. So till next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.